So I'll get a clock. I'll have a running clock and I'll keep you guys queued up as far as like what movement we're on. But basically we're just gonna accumulate some reps here of each of these movements for the allotted period of time, allotted amount of time. So starts out, we have Samson stretch for 1 minute there. So just making sure on those that we're really reaching up, getting those shoulders reaching back, try to get the hip flexor there the best you can. We have some down dog. So trying to get the shoulders with that one. So that might look like this here in a plank. Just driving the hip through and then back out. So that is the down dog. And then we have a side plank. So you guys know how to do those. You could go from the elbow or you could go straight arm from the side. So it'll be right side for the first 30 seconds. And that will take care of the first little set. And then we're gonna go to 1 minute of inchworms with the push up at the bottom. See, and then we have the up dog. So I don't know, we haven't done that in a while. So that's kind of like, I feel a lot in my lower back, but you can kind of feel that one in your abdominal as well. But basically you're just here, you're just pushing up like so. Get a nice little stretch there. We'll try to hang out there for 45 seconds. If going from hands is a little too intense, you can start on the elbows and just kind of push up and just kind of stretch that lower back a little bit. And then we have a left plank. And then we're gonna go into 1 minute of a Spiderman, and it says plus a hamstring stretch. So basically what that means is like, I can go here in the front of like a normal Spiderman, and then I can kind of push back and get the hamstring a little more as I work through that side and then switch side. So like so, push back, get the hamstring, back forward. So just kind of adding that little push back there kind of helps you get the hamstrings opened up a little bit. And then we're gonna do some 45 seconds of down dog with a push up. And then we're finishing with 30 seconds of just a front plank. And you can go hands or elbows, either way is fine. And then we're gonna talk about a 16-minute AMRAP after this. Yeah. So let me know if you guys have some questions. I gotta grab the clock remote real quick. I don't know where it's, oh, it's over here. All right. So what we're looking for here is to be able to move pretty consistently throughout this 16 minutes here. So, you know, looking to try to get our at least around every 4 minutes. You know, so about 4 rounds would be kind of a good goal to shoot for here. So when you're choosing, depending on if you have options with dumbbells or not, when you're choosing your weights, try to keep that in mind. The first movement here is a 100-meter farmer carry. And the idea is, ideally, we use 2 dumbbells if we have them. If not, no worries. We can do a few things. So I'll show you guys here. I'm gonna make the screen a little bigger. So if we don't have 2 dumbbells, the first thing we could do is we could do a single dumbbell carry. And if you have somewhere marked out, you can just switch halfway through. So if you're doing the single carry, really try to think of keeping your shoulders square. So making sure we're not letting it go too much like this, but we're really trying to fight. And that gives you that really good oblique work and that core work in there. 100 meters, it's easier to measure in feet usually for most people. And that, how many feet is that? Trying to remember here. I think a meter has 3 feet in it, so it might be about 300 feet. You might want to double check your Google machine on that. If you don't have anywhere to do it, do a farmer carry. A couple options. One of them might seem kind of weird, but is literally just standing and doing like high knee steps, and then switching like halfway through. And I would do that based on a period of time. So a 100-meter farmer carry will probably only take about 35 to 40 seconds. It's not very far. So you could do the steps, or you could do like from the hang position, you could do reverse lunge. And I think 15 reps would be really good as a substitution there. If we don't have anywhere to go do a farmer carry. If we don't have dumbbells, we could do a backpack or an odd object and hold it kind of like in this sort of front rack style position and carry like so. So that's an option there. And then the next movement we have is with the dumbbells as well, and that's a double dumbbell deadlift. So this could be a tricky movement for people. I'll show you kind of what we're looking for here. Just like any other time we do a deadlift or pick up weight off the ground, we're always looking for that neutral spine and focusing on the hinge from the hip, making sure we're not starting with our back, right? We don't want that round back. The dumbbells make it tricky for some of us, depending on our flexibility, to get them all the way to the ground. So don't be as concerned with getting them to touch the ground as much as proper position. So for instance, I have these two pretty small ones here. And what I would do for me is I would like let them hang like this to get a little, like almost like I'm reaching them towards the ground versus like this, because we only need one head to touch. So I'll let them kind of hang, shoulders back. I'll keep my feet pretty narrow. So you can see the feet are here, right under the hips. And then I'm just gonna go down, try to touch right outside my feet. So I'm basically in a squat here and then stand. And that's what makes these really tricky, is you're using your legs a lot more than you normally do on a barbell deadlift. One thing you could do though is if going to the ground is uncomfortable, you could stop where you feel is like the right position for you. So maybe that's here and then back up. So driving the hips back, knees out. So it's kind of like almost like in between it's like a squatty deadlift, for lack of better words. If we were using one, we could do it either between the feet, like so, and then we could switch hands like halfway through. So 10 reps on one arm, 10 on the other. Or you could do them outside the leg as well. So I'll let you guys kind of play with those. And then we finish the round with 30 sit-ups. So it's a pretty large number. That's a great station though to let your hands and your upper body rest a little bit and hopefully recover to cycle back to the top there with the farmer carry. So the sit-ups, if you don't have an ab mat, I recommend like using one of your dumbbells to like slide your foot under just to give you a little bit of leverage, just because I find it to be a little harder if you don't have an ab mat for that support. Or if it's too uncomfortable with that one, you could do V-ups. And maybe we could knock the reps down to like 25 or so, kind of depending on where you're at with V-ups. If you're pretty comfortable with them, you could stick to 30. If they're pretty challenging for you, maybe knock the reps down to like 20 or 25. That's it. And then we just cycle back through and just keep chipping away at it, for 16 minutes. Pull it up on the screen. Let's see here. Get the recording back on. Okay, so strength work. Simple today. 5-minute AMRAP of pull-ups, strict pull-ups if we have a pull-up bar. If we do not, we are gonna go ahead and work through some rows. Couple things though here is there's some flexibility with that. So the whole point in this accessory work is to basically get, I'll just finish explaining it first. So it's as many strict pull-ups as you can get in 5 minutes, with the caveat of every minute on the minute we stop and do 7 dumbbell push-ups starting on minute 0. So the point is these two movements are opposing muscle groups. So we have a pull and then a push. So we're working with the pull, we're working all of the muscles in the posterior chain of the back, a little bit of bicep, and then the push, we're getting tricep, chest, and some of the front muscle groups on the body. So a couple things if we do not have a pull-up bar. So one is, we've done these a lot during this time, but we could do some bent over rows. So I'll show you what those would look like. if I had 2 dumbbells that were pretty challenging weights, I would keep my feet narrow, flat, nice, or back nice and flat, but I want to have about a 45-degree angle in the back. I don't want to be like this, and I don't want to be too far over. So somewhere in the middle, and then I'm just pulling towards the hips and down. And so I work through as many of those as I could, and then at the top of the minute, I'll keep a hold of my dumbbells. I'll set them on the ground and do my push-ups with it holding onto the dumbbell, so it's a slight deficit. So I'll go all the way down until I touch the floor, and then extend all the way out. A couple things about the push-up is if we're still working on mastering the regular push-up, I would just stick with that and try to see if you can get through all 7 in a decent period of time there. We basically want to be able to get through those unbroken, at least for a majority of this 5-minute AMRAP, so that we have some time to get pull-ups. Or we could scale back the number of push-ups to like 5 push-ups, or what we need, whatever we need to do there. We could go from the ground, from the knees, if needed. The other thing is with the row, if the bent over row doesn't feel super comfortable for you, we could do it where we hold on and like kind of brace to like a chair. So I'll put my hand on the chair. That gives me something to kind of brace myself, and then I could switch arms maybe every minute or halfway through the time I have left. And then last option, if all those options are kind of like we want to switch it up or it doesn't feel very good, is we can do renegade rows. So 2 dumbbells on the ground. You can even do this with 1 dumbbell and switch sides. Plank position, and then I pull and row. And I can do that instead of rows too, the bent over row. So those are a few options there. And I think that's it. Let me know if you guys have some questions about these movements. And